Okay, so this will be the video for how to tile a shower. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give you, just a heads up. It's been a year. So, I've actually moved houses, and on the old tile video, I got about halfway done and I lost it. So this is for all, this video sucks. So you may want to look elsewhere. But I'll make it anyway just because I had some requests. So, that's just a disclaimer. So whenever you get on there and make comments about how this video is terrible, maybe you can remember that I said that it's going to be a terrible video. Here we go. We're going to want to draw out a map, have a plan to attack this. So keep that in mind. But if you have a step, the first thing you want to do is tile the top of this first. Nothing else, just the top. The reason is, that way, after it dries, we can start tiling the walls. So say that you tiled this and then immediately start tiling the walls. All the pressure from the tiles pushing down on this tile could end up bowing such up and whatnot. So we're going to tile this, let it dry. Alright, so I've dry fitted these, as you can see. They make little lips that you can put over here, some little fancy designs. I'm not going to do that. You will also see that I have these sticking over the edge just a little bit. That whenever I put this bottom one up, it'll end up matching pretty much flush with it. Whenever you do the walls, you're going to sit them directly on top. That way there's no grout line for water to seep into or get back into. These tiles will just sit right on top of it. Okay, so in the process of prepping this up, okay, so you can see how I got a line going down the middle that tells me that's exactly the middle. You can see all these X's here, that's where I messed up, fucked up. It's embarrassing. So I got 12 by 12 tiles, so this is kind of like an example of my bottom row. First thing I did was figure out how tall it is. I got 12 by 12, so for me, I'm going to have 4-inch gap up top, 4-inch gap down low. Whenever you hang a wall tile, you have to have a ledger board. If not, then the tiles will just slide whenever you put them on. So you have to have a ledger board. Everything's straight. Then you screw a ledger board into the wall here. And whenever we go to tile, we will start out tiling on top of that ledger board. Let everything dry for a day. You come back, you do the floor, then you do this bottom row of the wall tile. You do the floor and you let that bottom row sit on top of the floor basically. So as you can see, I've already drew a line here. This is where I'll screw in another ledger board. And a line there, it's where I'll screw in another one. So I'll do that all the way around. Whenever you're screwing in adjacent ledger boards, make sure they're level when they meet each other. So we'll do that. Okay, so if you're, have this lone soldier over here. So if you're worried, you don't want them to be off, because whenever you're tiling up here and you go over here and then, oh, that's off, that's no good. You can get yourself another little board, check and make sure those two are level right there. You should be good. Right, so as you can see, rough sketch is done. Rough guideline what I'm going to do. First place I'm going to start at, so I'm going to do this down here, and then I'm going to work over on this wall. We'll start from the bottom, so we'll knock out these two full squares first, and then you'll just stack on top. I use 3/16 inch spacers. Have a couple of them there. That's how we'll start it out. So when I get that side up, so now we'll start down here at the bottom, work our way up. What I do is I usually just try to do one row at a time. So I'm going to put enough thin set to do this bottom row here. Then I'll move up to this one. That way it'll kind of help me still see my guidelines, my map that I drew, and keep it kind of clean. Press them up firmly. And then your next step will assure that it's level. Take your leveler and put it on top. If it's not level, then you need to use some spacers down at the bottom. Lovely and level. So now we'll make our cuts down here on each side and move on to the next row. Also, you will see whenever I do this, I mark up a little higher over where I'm going to spread my thin set. That way I can still see my line. And again, you set it up. Once you get up here, you're going to have to make sure you use spacers down at the bottom. And again, always make sure it's level. As you can see, to make sure the spacing's in here, I don't really use anything in between them. But I just take this, get to where it needs to be. I kind of trace it up. That helps make sure that I don't have any thin set in this line. And this is just me measuring, getting ready for a cut. I just kind of make a mark up there, just so I remember how far I need to cut. And pause. This is where the video gets terrible. So I'm just going to walk through now how to do the rest of the shower. So don't hate me too much. Okay, so new house, different shower. Whenever we left off, I was about halfway up on this wall. Essentially, all you do is you keep going through the steps that I had said about how to tile up. So the bottom row there's nothing on this bottom row. We put a ledger board in and we're going up. So you can do one wall at a time. You can do these walls to where they go and they meet, whatever you want to do. But you will go all the way up on these walls until you hit the very top row. Do not do that top row yet if you are going to tile your ceiling. They did not tile their ceiling here. I did on my old house. And so if you're going to tile your ceiling, then do not do this top row yet. If you're not tiling your ceiling, you can go ahead. So all the way around, you get to your niche. First thing you do, boom, that tile back there. Measure the tile out, throw that tile back there. And then I did bottom, top, then sides. Looks like they did sides, then bottom and top. It doesn't really matter because it's such a small area, but back piece, then you put in your sides. You come to your faucets and you will cut. They make a little hole saw that you can do for your tile. So, and what you do with those is they're like little circles and you just have to keep them really wet while you drill through. And it should keep your tile fine. So you cut those, measure them, you know, how far the distance is, cut them out, and put those in. And, you know, so we come to the doorway now. Doorway is essentially like we have been doing. You're going to do, I did top, then I did the sides. So this came in first, then I did the sides. When you come outside, you're going to go all the way up all the way up and then do the top. I did that part last. And the same goes for, these little sides right here. You go from bottom all the way up. So when you're getting into this little area, switch sides here. When you're getting into your insides, you will go from the bottom, take it all the way up, and then you will stop at this top row. You do both sides, and then you're going to come into the ceiling here. And then you'll put in your top row. It kind of helps keep them up in a sense. I mean, it just makes it better. So, I worked inside out, so I went inside with the shower, then I did these sides, and then I did the outside. Ceiling. If you have big tile that you're going to use on the ceiling, pretend that this is the back of the tile. You're not going to put any thin set up on the ceiling, you're going to put it all on the tile. So if you're going to use big tiles, then this is the best method. Stop. Chump. So if you're going to use big ceilings, this is the best method. You just cake on that shit. Throw on the thin set and scrape it like you normally would. And then we're going to make a bullseye is what I do. Follow the finger. Go like that. Then come a little bit further inside. And then a little bit further inside. Then nice little bullseye right there. Boom. You're going to have a lot of thin set on it. And then whenever you throw it up, you kind of twist it. And that really helps it stick. So you kind of really work it in there. And that bullseye really helps add suction. So, fair warning, tiling a ceiling with big tiles is an MFer. All the way up, you do the ceiling, you cut where your light is, of course. And then you throw in your last row. Throw in the top. And then, so we will be left with the floor. Floor, just like you did anything else, you're going to just go with the floor. When I did my old house, I did pebble, but whatever tile you use, you go from one side. I went from that side all the way back out to the outside. That end to this end. And then once the floor dries, then you can get in there and you can put your bottom row in. Remove that ledger board and throw your bottom row in and have it sit on top of that tile. Lastly, grouting. Grouting is just like anything else that you would grout. Mix it up, cake it on, get it in these seams, and then wipe it off. Have some sponges to remove the excess grout, or it's gonna be a BI later on. So we'll grout everything. Key with grouting in a shower: do not grout anywhere where there's a change of plane. So no there, no there. Not even this little change of plane. Do not grout that. So once you grout everything, you don't have these grouted. You don't have the floor's edges grouted. And then, what you'll do is you put a little, they make like caulk with some grout in it, and then that's what you put in the corners. And any change of plane. That even goes for here. So you'll grout everything. I grout the walls and the ceilings, and then I come down to the floor. Do the floor last. You can cover the floor before you grout. That's probably smarter. And as you probably know, I did not cover the floor because I'm a retard. Still worked out good. So we got that. You do the floor, and then you do the caulk. And then you are done. One last tidbit on doing these inside corners of your door. If you are putting a door up, you have to be very meticulous about how wide this is. Most of those doors have very little room for error, like 1/8 of an inch. So sometimes you have to put a little bit more thin set on there to get it to the right width. So I will do a door. I'll do a video of a door because I'm going to put one in here eventually. So, and then that is it. So again, sorry that this video is garbage, but that's how you tile a shower.